Hello, I'm Martin McConnell, the Public Information Officer for Ascension Parish Government, and we're here today with another one of our community profiles. And today I'm very glad to have with us Ms. Angèle Dessatel. She's the director of the Ascension Parish Library, and she's going to tell us about all of the great things that's going on in the library. Hi, Angèle.
Hello.
Welcome to our community profiles.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the invitation.
Angèle, you have been the director of the library for about as long as I can remember. How long have you been there?
I've been with the library system for 30 years, and I've been the library director for 25 now.
And under that time, you have seen some dramatic growth and changes going on in the library. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, the library was in a small rented building on Burnside Avenue in Gonzales. Yes. Then it moved to a bigger one in Gonzales. The library had been renting spaces for a long time.
Absolutely. It bounced around on Irma Boulevard in 2 or 3 different spaces. And then in 1980, the library board at that time decided that they were going to build 2 new libraries, because back then we only had 2. And both of them were in rental spaces. So at the same time, they built a branch in Donaldsonville and one in Gonzales. And those are the buildings that we occupy today. Those were the first parish-owned libraries that we had.
That were parish-owned. And you mentioned the library board. So you are controlled by a board.
Correct.
Tell us about who's on the board of the library. How does one become a library board member, and what are some of the responsibilities?
Okay. The library is an agency of the parish, but it does.
Yeah, you are technically a parish employee.
Yes.
But you have your own funding source. But
right.
we'll
We have our own funding source, and we're responsible for running ourselves. But the parish council is the parent agency, so they appoint the library board, and it is a board of control. And currently we have on our library board, we have Sandy Scallon, LaThought Delaney from Donaldsonville. We have Terry Casso, who serves as our ex officio member.
Terry's a parish council member.
Parish council member. And then Mr. Ryland Percy is on our board, and Miss Kathy Lambert. All serve currently on the library board.
And these are all people, I mean, the name should be familiar to everyone, because these are people who are familiar with the community. And they've been active in the community for years, and that's what you want. You need people who know what's going on in the community, so they can come back to you and tell you what is needed.
Absolutely. They need to know the community, understand the community, and the library's role in the community. So.
And your funding source, you are funded by property tax. Everybody who owns property in Ascension Parish.
Correct. We are funded by currently it is 6.59 mills of property tax that comes up for renewal every 10 years. And that is 96% of the library's funding comes from that source. We do have state revenue sharing. We have grants that we're constantly writing for. Grants typically assist us in the programming that we do. And then we do have our fines and
that nickel late fine that adds up, huh?
Right.
So you see, your nickels are important.
Right.
To the
we do count those.
But we would prefer you get the books back on time.
Right. And on occasion, and that kind of fluctuates, because during the flood last year we hit no fines. We were waiving a lot of materials because they just lost it in the flood.
Yeah.
And ironically, one of the things that happened is everyone who lost materials in the flood, they were letting us know so we could clear it off their record. And then we had a few instances where people had come to us and said, look, I have your library book. It's okay, but people were helping me pack my house, and it's now packed into a storage unit. And so, okay. So we would extend the loan period to when they thought they were going to get it out. And we'd tell them, well, if you haven't gone into your storage unit at that time, come and tell us, and we'll just extend it
Well, the
more.
library patrons are a very dedicated, special bunch,
Absolutely,
aren't you?
absolutely. They're wonderful people, and
How many card holders do you have?
currently we have around 28,000.
28,000
Yes.
card holders of the library.
Right.
Astounding.
And we're hoping that we can get more and more, because one of the things that we have that people are not aware of, that even if they never set foot in the library, if they have that library card, we have wonderful online products that are at their disposal, and all they need is a library card. And so we're currently working on trying to get more library cards into people's hands, and hopefully by the beginning of next year we're hoping to have an online library card where you can get online and ask for a library card. We'll send it to you, and it will be good for you to access all of our online products.
And the brick and mortar library is still important, but
Exactly.
we're going out into the Ethernet.
Absolutely.
With
And
Let me
if
tell
you
you
need
this little
something out of
library.
brick and mortar, you can come and get a card.
I'll tell you my little library card story. I would regularly take my children when they were small to the library to check out books, and there was a limit on how much I could check out, so they each chose their amount based upon my limit. And as I'm checking out, I said, well, that's it, guys. I can't check out anymore. And the person at the desk said, well, how old are these children? They can each have their own library cards. They were so excited that they could have their own library. So then and there, they got their own library cards, and that was it. They would check out their own stuff. So what's the youngest library patron you have?
The youngest library patrons we have now, we've pushed the age back to if you are in kindergarten, you can get a library card. Going from kindergarten to first grade, you get a library card. And then we try to make sure that during the summer, when we do summer reading club, there was that little age gap that we were kind of missing, and we're like, no, we need to make sure all of them can use the library. And then we have read to me programs during the summer, where the parent can come in and sign up their toddler or their baby for summer reading club, and it's called a read to me program, where if the parent reads to the child gets prizes during the summer.
That's very innovative and very encouraging.
Right.
Okay, so back on the brick and mortar then.
Yes.
Let's tell everybody first of all, where can they go? Where are the library locations?
We now have 4 locations. We're growing like crazy, and so when the population grows, the library is supposed to grow also. So right now we have the Gonzales and Donaldsonville locations. Location number 3, parish-owned facility, came about in 1992. Galvez was
Galvez is on Highway 42, just west of its intersection with 44.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that is the location that is currently under expansion. So we are going through an expansion and renovation there, and hoping to have that finished by the first quarter of next year.
And let's allay a couple of fears for some people who, I know that the state is looking at widening, is trying to widen, and we're encouraging them to widen Highway 42.
Absolutely.
But because of that, you lost some parking. I think you lost a whole row of parking.
Correct.
There. So how did you compensate for that or ameliorate that?
Fortunately for us, when they initially built the building, there was actually enough room between the existing parking place and the building to put that row of parking back in to the parking lot closer to the building, but still leaves a nice amount of room between parking and facility. And we have maximized the parking in Galvez with, we doubled the parking for that facility. Parking is, we have a lot of people who use that library, and parking has always been a challenge there. And our patrons at that location, our library users, have always been so patient with us, and they understand that sometimes, we have to get creative whenever we have a program that a lot of people will attend. For years, we tell them, park on the grass. It's okay. That's all right with us. And we just kind of find a spot for everybody to park.
Oh,
So.
yeah, that's always a concern. If I
Yes.
go, can I park?
Yes, yes.
Okay, location number 4.
Location number 4 is Dutchtown. And Dutchtown opened in 2010. And it is located on Highway 73.
That's Highway 73. It is just south of the intersection with Interstate 10. So, and
Correct.
it's just a little north of Dutchtown High School, so it's
Right.
easily accessible from both ways.
Yes, and that is a very busy location. It's an area of the parish that's been growing tremendously in the last few years. And that location's approximately 20,000 square feet. And so it serves that community there. And Galvez has been expanded to approximately 20,000 square feet. Donaldsonville currently is located on Mississippi Street, which is River Road. in
It's
Donaldsonville.
facing the levee.
Yes.
If you're coming into Donaldsonville from the east, it's just before you get to Ascension Catholic Church.
Right.
Um,
And that's how a lot of people will find it. They'll say, well, you're located close to the big church. Yes, 2 blocks from the big church.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gonzales is located on Irma Boulevard across from,
Right across from East Ascension High
Ascension High
School,
School.
next door to the courthouse, in between the courthouse annex and the Veterans Memorial Park.
correct, correct.
So go check out a book, go sit on
Oh,
a bench in the
absolutely.
park and just enjoy
Oh,
the
yes.
beautiful weather we're having right now.
Oh, yeah, perfect time to pick up a book and go sit and read. And I know a lot of people like e-products nowadays, but we still have a massive amount of people that would be crushed if we weren't buying those hardcover books for them to read.
Let's talk about location number 5.
Location number 5 will be on 431. It will be the Santamon location. That's an area of the parish that's now growing, and
And I wanted to bring that up because I know that has been mentioned a lot. There are a lot of people in Santamon. They keep saying, "Well, why are you expanding those branches?" But you haven't brought us a branch in Santamon yet. That's on the drawing board.
That is, we're currently working on that, and we're looking at possibilities of getting a little creative with that property and seeing if we can multitask it in some way. Have other government agencies possibly working with us at that location.
Because this is not your grandfather's library
No, it
anymore.
isn't.
It will become kind of a multi-use facility, or
Absolutely.
on the property there will be additional things that people
Additional
can do.
things,
And this is
right.
on 431, just north of Bayou Narcisse Road, where it
Correct.
intersects there
Yes.
in Santamon. So Santamon folks, or southeastern portion of East Ascension Parish, you can be looking for that to come.
Yes. We're-
One day. It's being discussed, so that is
Right.
coming to you.
Right. We own the property already, and we're in the process of working on the layout, what we're going to do with that site. So I'm excited about it. In 1980, when I walked into the Gonzales Library, I went, oh my goodness, they will never fill this library up. And little did I realize that one day we would not only fill it up, but that I was going to be partially responsible for that. And but as the population grows, there are guidelines that you should follow as to the size of your library collection, the size of your facilities, and what you need to have for your public that you serve.
So, I mean, I've been in every one of these libraries. They're open, they're bright, there's lots of room for reading, there's lots of bookshelves and books, but they are conveniently laid out.
Yes.
Instead of the old library cards, you have computer access, and for those of us who are really lazy, you got somebody sitting at the front desk who will help you find something, and we'll go and pick it off the shelf.
Absolutely.
There are little areas where you can bring your children. You have a computer room. Tell me about the computer room.
We were very fortunate when we were working on Gonzales years ago. It was at the same time as the Gates grants that Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates were trying to get computers in every library in the country. And we had the ability, the pricing was phenomenal, and we had the ability to expand Gonzales as well as purchase computers. So when we were able to do Gonzales, we were able to put 50 computers in that location.
50 computers.
50 computers. And at the same time, we did Donaldsonville with 20 computers. So Donaldsonville and Gonzales have literally technology rooms where you can go in and find a computer in the room. The other 3 locations...
I know Dutchtown has a computer area.
Yes. They have areas where they have up to 20 computers. And Galvez will have a similar arrangement as Dutchtown when it reopens.
So what's required to use a computer, besides a library card, what's required to use a computer to go in that room and take advantage of it?
What we have done is you do need to be in good standing, and recently we have determined that, again, we're doing this with library cards, that patrons who may not be able to access the regular collection because of fines or overdues or whatever, that we're now issuing what we call computer cards, so that even if you're working on clearing up your record or whatever, you can get a computer card and get in and use the computer, check out headphones, do whatever you need to do. In this day and age, a lot of the local, I say local, but it's national, employers expect their potential employees to fill out an application online. And so that's where, they come to the library, because that's where they can sit down and fill out an application and submit it to these companies. Also, too, during Katrina, Isaac, the flood last year, you have to fill out a massive amount of forms for the government and FEMA, and so these individuals will come and use the library computers for that, and the staff will work for them.
You have assistants that
yes.
Can aid people who
Right.
are not as versed on computer use.
Exactly.
That's a great service to be able to provide
Absolutely.
to people. I also noticed too, when you walk into the library, you have a very nice lobby, but before you even get to the library proper, I guess I would call it, there are meeting rooms on either sides, and I know I have attended classes, I have attended workshops, I've attended homeowners association meetings. So
Yes.
you have meeting rooms available.
We have meeting rooms. Anyone that's a nonprofit can hold a meeting there. If it's educational in nature, we have Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts that meet. We have homeowners associations. We have entities that'll work on different types of topics that they want to discuss with the public that they can do there. The library offers a multitude of programs for the public, and we work with St. Elizabeth's Hospital, who does programs at the library. On one that we've done several times is a program called A Matter of Balance, and they come in and they work with people and teach them how to not fall, basically, how to balance yourself, and very effective. We've had some patrons who say that their doctors have been pleased with their improvement that they've seen. Then we work with the Gonzales Cultural Affairs Committee. We do an Explore Your Heritage. We work with the Master Gardeners. They do wonderful programs. We'll have individuals come in and talk about everything from how to take care of your roses to how to grow a good tomato. And they'll have...
I need to go to that. I'm terrible
yes.
with tomatoes.
They have wonderful programs. And they have plant swaps. We had one recently, and I think they usually have an average of about 90 people show up for that one.
Wow.
So lots and lots. And then we have study rooms for individuals who want to come in and book a study room and sit and just quiet study. And it's available to an individual or a small group of people. So
you partner with all sorts of agencies,
Absolutely.
organizations, groups, what have you. I've attended a Spanish conversation groups at the library,
Yes.
French conversation groups. These are for people,
Absolutely.
they're not necessarily lessons, but they're for people who want to learn the language, and they just need some conversation
Yes.
just to help to keep it up.
In fact, I was asked just in the last day or two, someone was looking at a report we had, and on it, it had just said bingo. And they said, you doing, I said, oh no, it's never regular bingo. And they said, well, what was this? And I said, Spanish bingo. You know, I said, and then we'll have, you know, with the children, they'll do animals or objects or whatever. Or, you know, if we're wanting to do a STEM program, you know, it may be mechanical in nature that we want to do. It's never just a plain bingo game. It's always just that one.
There's
step
additional
above.
elements to it
Right.
that makes one of those making learning fun sort of things.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if you're sitting out there getting overwhelmed by some of this information, saying, gosh, this all sounds good, but I'm writing as fast as I can. I'll never remember this. You got something else for them too. You've got this
absolutely.
great library brochure. It comes out once a month. I know I
Once a
get mine
month.
once a month.
Yes.
Let's talk about this for a moment. This is I'm holding the good old-fashioned analog version of the
Exactly.
library newsletter, but it's also available online as well.
Online,
To tell
yes. You can get to our website, and which is myapl.org, and our
MYAPL, my Ascension Parish Library.org,
Yes.
on the website.
on the website, and this covers everything. This particular newsletter covers everything going on in October. So we've got a wonderful programs. And we have programs, as you can see, through the Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities. During the summer, we do a lot of programs where the Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge, which we are part
We're
of,
a part of Greater Baton Rouge, yeah. Mhm.
funds some of those programs. So we're always able to.
You show films sometimes, movies
yes,
sometimes in
movies.
the library?
In fact, they have monster movies going on.
Oh, this
in
because we're approaching Halloween season,
Yes.
so we have monster movies.
monster
that are coming
movies
up.
at one of the branches. So we always have some wonderful activities. Lots of things for children. Story times. We do a variety of story times. Everything from baby time to pajama story time, where if you can't get to any of the others in the evenings, you can come in with your kids in their pajamas already, and they can do a craft, do stories, and then all you got to do is bring home and put them to bed. So we're always having wonderful
So
programs.
people can go online and
Yes.
view this, or they can subscribe to that, and it will be mailed to their homes or to their
Absolutely.
P.O. boxes,
Right.
to their mailing addresses. So
To
you
their
do
mailing
come out with
addresses.
these. And it's wonderful material in here. Another thing that I always like is you recommend books. Or here's a
Yes.
new book. Well, I'm looking here, Ernest Gaines' A Lesson Before Dying. That's one of our favorites. And
yes.
so you're recommending new books that are out, but you're also recommending the books that are there that perhaps you've forgotten about. And
That's right, that you want to remember. And on the back, usually we'll list a couple of the newer books that have come out since then, recently. And Ernest Gaines' A Lesson Before Dying is an award-winning book. And I have heard
the
him
movie's
speak.
pretty good, too.
Yes. I have heard him speak at
He
the
is a
Louisiana.
Louisiana treasure. He really
Yes.
is.
He's I think he's a author in residence at
In Lafayette.
In
I mean,
Lafayette,
in
at
University of Louisiana, Lafayette.
Yes.
Yeah, he's artist in residence there.
So there's always something going on at the library.
There really is
really
always
is.
something going on. There are always cars in the front of the library, and
Yes.
when people talk about, well, it's a new age and everything's on the computer and everything is electronic, there's just something about that brick and mortar library
Right.
that you can go into, and your staff is so helpful. You've given me a bunch of other information, and I don't
Yes.
want to neglect it.
One of the things is our annual report that we do, and this also is online.
The annual report. This is great. I love this. It's the way it's laid out. It's not the boring numbers. Read across the lines. It's interesting. So you can see how many. Well, I'm looking. 349,569 people visited, or person visits in the library in 2016. They checked out a total of 428,142 items. You had 1,431 programs in which 52,091 people participated. These are outstanding numbers.
Right.
And it's available. It's on the website, or people can receive that. I'm looking at this card you handed me, the value line. What is the value line?
Value line is a wonderful investment product that you can get online now. It's basically anyone who's familiar with the Value Line books that for years we'd get, and they were constantly updated because of the nature, the dynamic nature of the
It offers investment and financial information.
Yes.
And unlike a book, which is very timely and very dated, this information is updated
regularly, continually. And we do have business programs. We work with SCORE and
Service Corps of Retired Executives.
Yes, and they'll come meet with you at the library if you want. We also work with the Louisiana Small Business Association, which come usually through the universities. We work with the Southern University group, and they come in and do programs on
that Small Business Development Center, as I recall. I've participated in several seminars, if you will, financing a small business, that sort of thing.
That type of thing, and it helps people get started on it helps them learn what you have to do to get a business going. So that's good. And I never can remember the acronym. Thank you for
SBDC.
Yes, because and they've changed it 3 or 4 times. So
now that's a brochure you provided, free business advice, and it talks about the SCORE, that these are retired business people who still, they have this knowledge and they want to help you. They will work with small businesses, and
they want to help.
They'll help you develop your business plan. They'll help you develop your budgets. They'll help you whatever you need.
They'll help you get your.
They won't do it for you.
Right. They'll exactly. They'll help you get your package together to go to the bank, that type of thing, so that you'll know. And everything they do is very discreet and confidential. They don't. These people are very professional. They'll never discuss your business with the next person coming in. So
now I'm looking at this card, the online learning at the library. Turn on, log in, get smart.
Yes, these are some wonderful databases. You can almost learn anything here now.
Well, here's some foreign languages, for goodness sake. And
foreign languages, we have Learning Express, we have Universal Class. You can come in, and if you just don't know how to use Word to its full potential, you can take a class in this online and take it at your own pace. Now, 2 of the latest products we've gotten is lynda.com. It's on this online learning, has a multitude of different topics that you can learn. And then when it comes to another product we've gotten, that's on the other card, Hoopla. Hoopla is, there's a lot of hoopla about Hoopla. Hoopla has streaming movies and videos. It has magazines. It has books.
E-books, audiobooks, movies, television, music, and comic books.
Comic books. We have a comic book avenue for those who are interested in that. And then, of course, we have Overdrive, which is a lot of your typical e-books and audiobooks. And then RV Digital, where one of the things I've done, I've downloaded a few magazines onto my cell phone. So when I'm stuck at the doctor's office, just sitting there,
you don't have to look at a 5-year-old magazine that's in the pile on the coffee table, do you?
I can pull up and I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's see what HGTV has to say, or Dr. Oz, can he keep me from having to sit here in this doctor's office? Can he cure me? Things like that. Just a lot of different resources there on everything. You can learn about National Geographic to just fun activities for kids, to crafting, and just a multitude of things that you can do.
And as we discussed a little earlier, you work with the different groups, the different organizations, you put together these programs. You are also very open to hearing from your library patrons, the individuals. They can come and they can request a book, and you don't have the book, you can go buy the book. They can request a program. If you don't have the program, you look and see if you can put something together.
The majority of the ideas that we have some wonderful staff that come up with great ideas, but a lot of times they come from the public, from people who are like, well, why don't you offer a class on this, or how about this topic, that type of thing. So we do computer classes where if you don't know how to use Excel, you can come in and learn. We have just a variety of things that can be done. The staff do a great job with programs for the children, and we now, one of the things that the patrons wanted that we now do is during the summer we had summer reading club for the youth and the young adults, but we never had an adult summer reading program until a few years ago, where we went ahead and started one, and that's very popular. And they can win prizes too for reading over the summer.
I remember a summer program that I participated in, and it was a grant you received, and a professor of English from Nichols State University came up, and she brought with her 4 or 5 different books by Louisiana authors. I remember it's the first time I ever read Kate Chopin and Flannery O'Connor, and so she would assign the book, and we would take it home to read it, and then the following week we would come back and we would discuss that book. And it was just a great program. I learned about authors I didn't know about through that program. Great stuff for adults to do.
And that you mentioned that we do now have book clubs at every location that individuals can participate in.
And all of that information is in here.
Absolutely.
Or visit your local library, because there is one conveniently located for you. Even if you're in Santa Maria, we're coming to you as well.
That way, yes. And we love when people use our databases and products, but our staff just love it when they see you in person, when you come through the door. And they're always great. I remember one patron who told me they just couldn't believe the level that the employee went through. They came in, they wanted a recipe from a cookbook that we no longer had because it had been worn and damaged, so we had to withdraw it from the collection. Well, that employee had the cookbook at her house.
No fooling.
Went home at lunch, came back with the cookbook, tracked down the patron, found the recipe she was looking for, made a copy of it for her. So the patron was telling me, I just can't believe this. She went home, got the cookbook, and she said, so I could have the recipe. She says, this is unbelievable. But that's how the patrons are, the staff are. If they can do anything to help you, they will. They will.
And they'll be greeted warmly whenever you walk in. I can promise you that. I assure you that. Well, Angele, this has just been a wealth of information, and it's just it's just a very good feeling knowing that Ascension Parish has, in my opinion, a world-class library to offer to our citizens.
Yes, and we are an award-winning library. We've won several awards through the years. It's the James Modizet Award for public libraries, and it deals with your ability to basically compete against yourself and keep your library moving forward. So I'm real pleased with that. And as you are, I grew up in this area, and so I've always been real pleased with the library But now I'm really pleased that I get to take credit for some of that. You know?
And you deserve it very much. You and your staff have done an outstanding job of being responsive and reactive to the needs of Ascension Parish. And I know that when people are looking at moving to a community, yes, they check out the schools, yes, they check out, but library is one of the things. And when we're trying to promote our community to outside organizations to try to bring them in, the library is one of the things they want to know about. If you have a thriving library system in your community, it speaks volumes about the health of your community.
Right. It's a true reflection on the community as a whole and those who are willing to support it. So it says a lot.
Well, congratulations, commendations to you and your staff for all of the wonderful things that you have accomplished and that you continue to offer to the people. And we want to encourage you, myapl.org. Go online, sign up, get yourself a library card, subscribe to this publication, and it will come to you on a regular basis. Or better yet, go on in, see what the library is all about, see what they have to offer you. Because
some of them have been renovated since the last time you've seen them, and they're just beautiful facilities.
Yeah, they are very beautiful. They're open. They're warm and friendly and welcoming. So please go to the library. Avail yourself of yet one more bragging right that Ascension Parish is offering to you. Thanks to Angèle Desautels with the Ascension Parish Library. I'm Martin McConnell. Thank you for joining us once again on our Community Profiles.